now, you're tuned into RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
What's going on, RBLR Nation? You are tuning in to the Rays portion of our podcast. Unfortunately, Mr. Ben Whitelaw is not here today, but you do get me, Mr. Zach Blaine, and along with me is the one and only Mr. Eureka Wheeler. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm hoping to do the same for this podcast that Mr. Kittredge has done for the Rays this week, and that is be clutch.
Oh, I love it already. So yeah, I mean, let's just go ahead and get right into it. We have a ton of baseball to go over. I think we've had 8 games this week, and we had one off day, so we got a lot of stuff to throw into a small show real quick.
Yeah, with us there's so much baseball to talk about, and us recording a couple days late. We gotta smash all this in so we can get back on schedule.
Yeah, plus we got some NBA games to watch, right? I mean,
exactly. Go Nuggets. All right.
So yeah, we'll jump right into it. We got the first game was last Saturday, and that was the Rays at the White Sox. Unfortunately, it was a 3-2 loss. We had Kluber come out and throw 5 innings, a 4-hit, 2-run ball. He did have four strikeouts. Anything that you liked or disliked, or anything you want to bring up about that game?
Yeah, Jose Abreu seems to just have Kluber's number, man.
Yeah.
Abreu's been really good against him going into this, and he took him deep and was hitting him hard all game in this one.
Yeah, and you're not wrong, and it was kind of unfortunate because we'll get into Kluber's a little bit later in the show, but this was one of his better games. 5 innings, he only gave up 4 hits, but like you said, Abreu hit a bomb. Like it was beautiful. It was a beautiful hit. I can't even hate on him for it.
Yeah. Well, it's like us and how we have it's like the antithesis of what's his name on the Orioles, Fry. Like that dude is really good for everyone else, and then he plays the Rays and we just demolish him. Jose Abreu is that kryptonite for Corey Kluber, it seems.
Exactly, and I'm glad that we don't play him as much as we play some of the other teams that we have issues with. But yeah, so did anyone stick out for you on the Rays team, offensively or defensively?
Yeah, I defensively for sure. Brett Phillips, I think, made a great catch to rob a home run in center field in this game, and I guess before we get into offense, I think that Michael Kopech for the Chicago, I think he had a great game on the mound for them. I mean, or a good game, I should say. He went 5. He gave up 1 hit, 1 run, only walked 2 guys and struck out 5, and that's kind of like the big thing of the day is that the Rays really couldn't get anything going early. But what did you see? What was your standouts?
Yeah, so again, I think you kind of nailed it on the head when you say the Rays couldn't get anything going early. It felt like we were just so behind not even just score-wise. It just felt like the game was moving so slow for the Rays, and it didn't seem like a typical Rays game at all. Yeah.
I mean, well, even like with Randy creating some magic on the bases, I mean, he hustled to first, but it was Harrison playing third for Chicago, had a horrible throw, and that got Randy to second, but even that was kind of like not just, I mean, Randy had to kind of duck, dive, and dodge in order to get around and get safe at second, so it's like the only things we were ever able to really conjure up were because of bad defense or lucky plays or something like that early in the game.
Yeah, it made it feel like Randy had to do those things, though, was kind of the part that disappointed me. And don't get me wrong, I'm thankful that he can do those things, but it felt like he had. Sorry, I got the boys in the background.
No, you're good. I love the Blaine. I love the Blaine boys. It's on brand, buddy.
But it just felt like Randy is making himself have to do these things. It's not something that he's just doing at times. It's like he has to do it for us to stay in to games like this, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I got 2 more negative things and 1 positive thing. One, and then we can move on. But in this one, you talk about Randy. I think he was pressing. I think he was trying to create something out of nothing, and it showed when he got ejected. I mean, horrible pitch. If you're looking at it from the from the TV perspective, it's like we could see it, but they did a great job of framing that low pitch. It was a called strike, even though it was a ball. Randy thought it was a ball and threw his bat 50 feet in the air in frustration and got ejected for it. So I love the passion. I don't love the getting ejected when he's like our, one of our superstars. But it showed just the frustration of the whole game. So that leads into the other thing. The other negative was 12 strikeouts on the day. Walls was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Zanino 0 for 3 for 2 strikeouts. Brandon Lau 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, and even Brett Phillips 1 for 4, but he struck out twice as well. So it's just like getting rung up.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I don't think anyone that game had a multi-hit game. I think the few people that got hits, they were all 1 for 3, 1 for 4. But a majority of the team was 0 for however many plate appearances they had. So I agree with that. And as far as the Randy thing, negative, yes, but maybe how like when people say the managers come out on a bad call and they're just trying to get the team fired up, so they'll get ejected on purpose. I don't know if that's what he was doing, but that's what I like to think he was doing. Like in my head, I'm like, all right, let's go, Randy. You were just getting the team fired up. I see what you were doing there. In reality, he probably wasn't, but it would have been nice, right?
Well, what got me fired up was the bullpen in this game. I thought that Thompson, Springs, and Kittredge, they came in, had 3 innings, no runs, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts. I mean, pretty solid performance. And the Rays, for all the negativity we just said, they were in a position to win this game in the 9th inning, and they couldn't do it. But the bullpen is a huge reason that they were able to keep the damage contained. And I'm sure we'll get way more into the bullpen. So I just wanted to throw that little nugget out there in this game.
Yeah, no, and I think that our bullpen is what's keeping us in a lot of these games, unfortunately, up until today. And obviously we'll talk about that more. But up until today, I think our bullpen has been a big reason why we've had success this week, unlike last week. And we can go ahead and jump right into the next game at Chicago where, much better outcome. Rays win 9-3. So that's with a kind of like a bullpen day anyway. Our starter was JP Fireeisen. He comes out and throws 2 innings. 2 innings with no hits and 3 strikeouts. So much better than we're expected to do on a just bullpen day. But anything for you in that game?
Yeah, I loved it. Fireeisen getting his first, start, quote unquote, as a pro. So congratulations to him. And I'm sure he was saying thanks to Josh Lowe, who robbed a homer, and then after this first couple guys, like, ooh, all right, this is a little weird. He got settled in and was able to do 2 perfect across the board innings with 3 strikeouts. I mean, hell yeah, let's go. I love that. I think that also we had the bats coming alive. Randy, Franco, Mejia, like all those guys were doing
Margot.
really well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who else was standing out for you?
So for me, bats wise, you nailed it on the head. Rosarena and Margot were the 2 big ones for me. Margot went 3 for 4. Randy 3 for 5. And then on the mound on that side of it, obviously I loved Fireeisen. Mazza, not a fan of Mazza.
Okay.
I respect him.
I
respect him for last year. But this year he's just. I mean, I think I tweeted something not long ago about can we send him down? Can we send him down mid-game? Like, is that possible?
Yeah, I think unfortunately Mazza came in. The White Sox loaded the bases. Mazza beaned a dude to score their first run, and I mean, just looking at the thing, he goes 2 1/3. He only had 2 hits, but he put 5 dudes on base by himself. So it's like if you take those walks out, great, but thankfully it wasn't damaging because of Randy and Mejia and Margot, all these guys doing really well. That by the time Mazza came in, we already had a 4-run lead, so he kind of had but that's what I like about Cash is that, like, obviously we're all down on Mazza, but this is a perfect opportunity to throw a guy out there and be like, here you go, there's still more game to play. It's still important, but you got this cushion to walk 5 guys, I guess.
Yeah, and that's it just and obviously it's not just off of this game that I say that, but like
Of course.
the 5 walks, that's
No, it was
insane.
bad. It was
That's
bad, man.
very bad.
It was bad.
But then when we have guys, and again, like I'm not mad at them because we got the win, but that's because we have guys like Beeks and Thompson,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
even Tommy Romero coming out,
Yeah.
and Beeks and Thompson both threw no hit. Beeks had
Yeah.
a 1 2/3 inning, and Thompson had a whole inning with no hits.
Yeah.
And Romero comes in, throws 2 innings with no 2 innings with no or 1 hit, 1 earned run. Like for a young kid, that's not
Yeah.
bad. I can't be mad
Because
at that at all.
yeah, it was just a meaningless homer that Romero gave up, but that was the
Exactly.
only hit that the bullpen over 4 2/3 gave up. So they did good. I mean, to be honest with you, I think the plan was to put Mazza in as like a more of a bulk guy, and because he walked 5 dudes, they had to take him out after 2 innings. But I believe, I mean, who knows? But I think that is the plan. You bring in Fire Eyes, and he's really only going to give you 2 innings is great. Then you
Yeah.
maybe you get Mazza for 4, and now you only have to bring in Romero. But because Mazza didn't quite do it, then you had to bring in a couple other guys.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunately, but fortunately, Fire Eyes. And I mean, I don't think when I watched the game, I wasn't expecting him to go 2 innings. I was
Mm,
expecting him to be the first inning guy, and then we have someone like Beeks or Mazza come in. But Mazza just was not like. I mean, I don't want to dog on him too bad, but
yeah,
luckily we had those other guys that could come in and
yeah,
shut out basically
yeah,
could do what they needed to do because we're lucky we weren't down. We weren't down at the point of Mazza walking 5 guys.
yeah. The next game was, I guess if you just look at the score line, it doesn't feel like it, but I think it was a lot closer. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
were still in Chicago, but we weren't playing the White Sox. We actually went to Wrigley Field to play the Cubs, but 4-2 is a loss. But my notes say closer than you'd think up until the end.
Yeah, no, agreed. When you have McClanahan coming out and throwing 6 innings of 1 hit or of 4 hit, 1 run ball with 9 strikeouts, generally you don't expect to lose 4-2 in that situation. But um, Guerrera came out, gave up a run. Adam
Yeah,
came out and gave up a run.
yeah.
It's just little things. I think that we outplayed Chicago in this game. Just things weren't falling our way.
Well, Kyle Hendricks on the mound for the Cubs comes in just amazing. 4 and a third. Yeah, he gives up 5 hits, but real no damage. I mean, he struck out 6, gave up 2 runs, put a couple guys on base, but that's a pretty solid effort. When you're going against our ace, when you said, I mean, Shane just was. I think he probably feels he could have done a lot better because I don't think McClanahan. I think McClanahan's trying to go the whole distance every time
Yeah.
that he's on the mound. So, and he's one of the few guys that I believe could do it for the Rays. Pitch counts and whatever be damned. If you gave
Yeah.
the ball to McClanahan and you told him he's going to have to go 9, he would do it. But again, the Cubs, man. It was really close, but I think they played a good game. Patrick Wisdom just hit an absolute no-doubter off of McClanahan to put us down by 2 early. But G-Man comes back. Josh Lowe comes back and ties it up. So they did a pretty good job. It was, unfortunately, the late innings that fell apart. We were close. It was a tie game up until the bottom of the 7th, and that's when Springs unfortunately gives up a hit to Ian Happ, and then you had already mentioned Guerrera giving up a home run to Frank Schwindel, but for 2/3, whatever, for 7/9 of this game, it was pretty damn close, and it could have gone either
Yeah,
way.
and you're exactly right, and that's the one reason why I say like this game wasn't one that I was really disappointed in.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
I was disappointed in the outcome, but not in the play of the team themselves because I felt like we deserved to win this one, and it just didn't happen. So you know what? We move on to the next one. We're good to go. Kind of a deal
Yeah.
is what I was thinking while watching the game.
Well,
Um,
they kind of go hand in hand. How did you feel about the next game?
yeah, that was what I was going to say next. Again, we had not a terrible game. I gotta look at my notes real quick and see who we had pitching that game. But we had
I think I got Fleming did 3, but I don't think he started.
Whistler was the starter.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
sorry,
right.
my
Yeah.
notes were a little jumbled up there.
No,
But we
you're
had
good, man.
Whistler starting that game, and we come out and win 6-5. And it felt like this was going to be this week. I'm glad that it ended up kind of not being, but it felt like we were just going to go win loss win loss win loss. Like it felt like we were just waiting for that Thursday bye day, like that off day. But yeah, Whistler comes out, throws 1 2/3 no hit ball. Flemings comes out to relieve him and throws 3 1/4, 4 hits, only 3 earned runs, only 1 walk, which I think is what's big for me.
Okay.
The Because that's been kind of an issue to start the season for us is the amount of walks that we have.
Yeah. Well, I think this was you were talking about win-loss, win-loss. That's kind of how I felt during this game. It was a crazy back-and-forth game. The Rays are the team that get it going early with a run. Wander Franco just hitting an absolute bomb in his first game at Wrigley for his first home run of the year, which shockingly that I couldn't believe that it's been that way. So because he's been tearing it up on the bases. It's just been doubles and triples and not four-baggers, right? So we're up 4-0, and then the Cubs come back. Patrick Wisdom, again, if this wasn't a Rays podcast, he'd probably be my player of the week. Wisdom with a 2-run homer to make it 4-3, and the Cubs have now made a comeback. I mean, maybe this is a good time to talk about Patrick Wisdom. I thought he was just phenomenal against the Rays.
Yeah, scary good against us, and it's another one of those almost like an Abreu against Kluber, but it felt like Wisdom against the Rays kind of a deal.
Yeah. There was a play too that during this like comeback, and the Cubs kind of had all the momentum. Wander Franco was locked in. I believe he went 3 for 5 in this whole game, but he hit a great solid hit into the outfield, and Randy Rosarena was rounding third, and the left fielder just picked up the ball, throws it, and robs a Rosarena at the plate, and it was just like, oh no, oh god, like please let us do this, because it is a bullpen game, and at this point we'd already had 2 or 3 guys in, and so it's like, let's just keep it going. But who's the guy that comes in? Taylor Walls hits a triple. Past an outstretched left fielder like a couple plays later, and then Randy gets a double. Ramirez hits a single, and now we're back up 6-3, and now I'm feeling really good. Up until Nico Horner hits a triple, and then Thompson's in, and Thompson unfortunately is on my bad list for this game. He walked a couple guys. He threw this wild pitch that got the Cubs back into this game at the score of 6-5 at the point, if I remember right. And
yes.
it wasn't until Kittredge comes in and strikes out 2 guys, gets a ground out, and it's like, okay, I'm not 40 yet, but like I might need heart medicine if I keep watching these guys like this game.
And exactly, and I think that this is. I will agree with you. This is the one game this week that I have Thompson in the negatives for us.
Yeah.
Because he's been phenomenal this week. But I will say this game, I agree with you on that. And Kittredge came in and saved the day. You said it in the beginning of the episode. Came in clutch and did exactly what he was doing last year, and he just continues to do it this year, which is amazing to see.
Yeah, Whistler did great for me. Adam did great for me. Kittredge did great for me. Fleming and Thompson, I actually didn't write bad in my notes. I just wrote not so good. There was good and not so good.
But you're exactly right though. You're spot on. Neither one of them were particularly bad. They just not so good.
Not so good. Not so good.
I was to say, speaking of good, the next game, again, we come in, and this feels more like a Rays game to me. We win 8-2. Not an up and down. It didn't feel like an up and down game from the jump.
Nope.
We had, if I'm not mistaken, this is the game that only went 6 innings because it was shortened by a rain delay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Drew Rasmussen gets the start. 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, only 4 strikeouts. And then Jalen Beeks comes in and gets the first win of the season with a 2 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 1 base on ball. Um, he is slowly becoming one of my favorite pitchers on this team. I love his delivery. I love everything about him. And he's still rocking, as of this game, still rocking a 0.00 ERA for the season, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do, man? He's just killing it. Uh, 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 Even when the rain was coming, it was like the game was already over. I mean, uh, offensively, they got it done just at the top of the first. Rosarena steals third on an error, scores off a bad throw. Then Mejia hits a home run right after that, and it's like,
Yep.
this is just going to be one of them games that there is nothing that you can do. It doesn't matter if you're Marcus Stroman. It doesn't matter if you're, whoever. You're getting hit
We're gonna
today.
put in
Sorry,
work.
buddy.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
exactly.
yeah. Franco, another double in this. He got a ribby off a double. And Chicago just played horrible defense in this game. Even before the
Yes.
rain was coming, lots of errors coming because or lots of runs coming because of errors. And it's just like, okay. And we capitalized, and that was great to see. Is that like in the couple of the other games, not like it wasn't perfect games. The 4-2 loss and the 6-5 win, they weren't perfect defensive games by either team. But in this one, the Rays were able to capitalize when the Cubs made bad mistakes.
Yeah, and I will put my kind of throw my vote for one of the better players of the week out there now.
Okay,
Mejia was an animal this game.
I like it.
I love Mejia. Obviously, I have a special place for Zanino because I just he's that will hit 30 home runs in a season. He'll have a .65 batting average, but he'll hit 30 bombs. But I think Mejia's bat is slowly putting him in contention to take that spot from Zanino after this year.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll overtake him this year, but I think next year when Zanino wants to get paid, I think
Mhm.
we have Mejia, who is going to be a very serviceable starter for us in the future.
Yeah, if there's a defensive guy I don't know the whole organization, but if there's a defensive guy, or maybe they bring in a free agent to be the opposite of Mejia, that's what they'll do to save whatever dollars they can, unless Zanino,
Yeah.
sticks around for a team friendly contract. But why would you do that? So then the rain came out, and we got an 8-2 win after 6 or 5.5 innings. So that was good.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad about the rain. I mean, like I said, I
Let's
am a
go.
little mad about it because we probably would have scored 12, but I'm not upset about the outcome of it. Um, just
Oh,
because it.
let me ask you about Drew Rasmussen. How'd you like him? Because he came out and he threw. I believe he was the starter in this game.
Yeah, so he was the
Quotation marks.
starter. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So he was the starter. To me, his control seemed a little off. It seemed like he
Okay.
was just in a weird place, not necessarily throwing the ball like we'd expect.
Okay.
Um, but even with that, he only had 2 walks, which
Yep.
I'm not mad about. But I kind of expect more than just 4 strikeouts from him over 3 innings, and maybe that's me just being completely optimistic.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, he got the job done. 4 hits. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not mad about it. Kind of a
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Uh, but I did feel like his control was a little off this game, and I wasn't sure why.
Yeah, I couldn't answer that question for you either. I thought it was, mixed results. I think he did all right. And with there being so much offense, I think that they might have been able to let him in there a little bit longer,
Yeah.
especially because the Razors batting around Stroman, and it was like, and they continued even when they took Rasmussen out. They still were just on fire against Stroman. So it maybe could have been one of those days where we save some of the arms and get a couple more innings out of the starter. So
Yeah, and it just I guess the big thing for me was so he only walked 2, but in 3 innings he threw 79 pitches.
okay, okay,
So that's I mean
Okay.
Good job for not walking people, but you're getting deep into a lot of counts. At
That's a
79
great point.
pitches in 3 innings is not like that's a lot.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
So aside from that, I mean, he's still one of my favorite players on the Rays. I feel like I'm not going to pull my support back from him yet because I talked so highly about him last season and in our extended off season talk. But I do think that it's a little worrisome so far.
Yeah. Well, how are you? How are you feeling going into this? Like, I guess not to get too big picture about it, but I don't think he really. I don't think he threw again the rest of this week. So, going into this, like, how were you feeling? Are you just still so about Rasmussen, or overall in the season, how are you feeling about him?
Overall, he has a high ERA at 5.25.
Sure.
Um, but I still have high hopes for him. And like I was kind of saying before, he's sort of one of those guys where if he can turn it on and he can have that third pitch that Ben and I have been talking about most of the offseason program. If you guys haven't listened, we've got episodes on all sorts of offseason stuff because it was one of the longest off seasons we've ever had. Definitely ever here at RBLR Sports. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend going and checking those out. But we did talk about if he can find that third pitch, and I don't think he's proven yet that he's found that third pitch.
Okay.
I want him to continue to be in the lineup. I want him to be a starter for us, or in the rotation and be a starter for us. But unfortunately, I think there's only one thing that can help him do that at this point,
Yeah. What's that?
and that is I think if he were to go to shop.rblrsports.com and buy one of the most badass Tampa Bay Rays inspired shirts that you can find.
I love it.
I don't know if that'll actually help him, but I know for you fans listening that if you guys go on and check out, again, that's shop.rblrsports.com. We have some of the most cool Tampa Bay Rays, Tampa Bay Bucks, Tampa Bay Lightning, the Rowdies, the Bandits now. Just some of the most awesome team-inspired designs that were all done by Eureka. And I think Eureka might have just maybe a discount code for you guys.
Nope. Everything's full price. No, I'm just
All right,
joking. No.
well.
No, guys, if you do go, Zach said it. I'm glad he put emphasis on it because we work really hard on these. So if you can go to shop.rblrsports.com, use the promo code FLAPPY, FLAPPY, like the Flappy Boys, and you're gonna get 10% off whatever you want. So we just put up some really cool lightning inspired shirts. That's really cool. So head over there, use the promo code FLAPPY, you get 10%, whatever shirt you want, 10% off. So there you go.
All right, and the perfect ad read there, guys. I don't know if you agree or not, but
It's clutch. It's elite.
So speaking of elite, not so much was the next game that we had. We did have that off day on Thursday, and then we go right into
Finally.
Boston. Yeah, right. We come back home, and Boston comes to the Trop, and they take a win from us 4-3. Again, Boston is just Boston, it feels like. But this was one of those games where I said we were going to get back into talking about Corey Kluber. So Kluber comes out, throws 5 innings.
Yeah.
Not sure how he threw 5 innings, but he threw 5 innings. In those 5 innings, he had 11 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, and only 3 strikeouts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is one of those games where I was not very impressed with the Klubs.
Well, the problem was that he got hit early, which we had seen earlier in this week, got the bases loaded, and Boston walks away with 2 runs out of that scenario. It didn't get better after that. Is a really bad thing. 5 innings, he gets hit around 11 times, 4 runs, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. This is not saying I'm jumping off the thing, but they're asking a lot for us to like. You need more than. I mean, I'm being optimistic here, and obviously he's. I think. I'm trying to be really optimistic here that he's going to turn it around. Of course he's going to turn it around, man. Of course he will. But so far through 14 innings, he's struck out 12 dudes. But like it's just when it's bad, it's really bad. And unfortunately, this was really bad. And it was a game at home against an opponent that we have to beat if we're going to win our division. And right now we're floating around at 500, or at the time of this game, maybe we were under 500 at the time.
No, we were right at 500.
We were right at 500. Yeah. So I mean, we're no one has really jumped out ahead of us, but we still need to keep the ship afloat. And you're handing the ball to Corey Kluber. We should be very confident about that.
Yeah,
man. We should be like, hell yeah, we're about to. The Red Sox aren't scoring any runs today, or at least through the first 5 or 6 innings, and then they get 11 hits through 3 of them. So it's like, or 5 of them, it's like, I don't know, man. And what's great about Kluber is he was going against Michael Wacha, so we were even like, hell yeah,
exactly. It's someone we know. Like you're expecting. I get what you're saying 100%. Like. My confidence in Kluber is not there. And unfortunately, again, not to throw back to the old episodes too much, but when we signed Kluber, I wasn't a huge fan of the signing.
Okay.
Personally, I think he's one of those guys that he's obviously towards the end of his career. He's older. I don't know his exact age, but I think he's like 36 or 30 some. I know he's higher 30s. Yeah, so 36 years old.
Yeah.
And I know the Rays like to bring in one veteran guy and kind of run with him and do what they got to do. But I did not have faith in Kluber when we signed him. And this is kind of bringing those worries that I had kind of into a reality, which is not inspiring or not. It's not taking any of those worries away, especially when you have, our bullpen come in after him and throw 4 innings of no-hit ball.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we had Phoenix Sanders pitch. Colin Poche comes in and throws a 6-pitch inning with a strikeout. So you got to think 3 of those pitches were to one guy.
Yeah.
So it's just when we have people performing like that, it's kind of upsetting to see us fall when we have 3 of the 4 guys that pitched phenomenal. And just that one guy kind of put us in a hole right from the start.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately through 3 games, his hits per 9 are way up, his strikeouts per 9 are way down, and almost 30% down. Yeah. And unfortunately, he's just if you look at FIP too. I'm a big FIP guy, and his FIP is his ERA plus he's only quote unquote 8% worse than the average pitcher, which is bad because Corey Kluber should not be an average pitcher on your team.
Exactly.
So that's the hole that you're in right now. But then also it's his own doing. It's not like he's getting unlucky with batted balls. It's not unlucky he's unfortunately already given up 2 home runs, and he only gave up 8 the entire year last year. So. We'll see. It should turn around here, but unfortunately, I don't want to get too negative. But it something needs to change, or I don't know if he's still dealing with something. If I know Ben is probably yelling and screaming as he's listening to this, saying small sample size and no spring training and pitchers are going to be all right and just give it 3 more weeks. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and obviously I agree with that. That Ben is the most optimistic guy I think I've ever met when it comes to pitching numbers. Don't worry about it. He gave up 15 runs. It'll be okay. It'll happen.
I'm with you about regression to the mean. I mean, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly. And it feels like I want to stay positive with him. I want Kluber to be phenomenal for us.
Yeah.
I just, unless something changes soon, I've kind of given up on him, as much as that pains me to say because he is in a Rays uniform now. But I've kind of just, it would take a lot to change my mind on him at this point.
Well, I would say just to maybe move on in this particular game and say like, unfortunately, Corey Kluber was the guy that he's the guy that had to get hit around. But I think Boston did an amazing job in this game. Bogarts was 3 for 4, Verdugo's 2 for 4, Hernandez was 2 for 4. They came to play and they did it. It wasn't that Corey Kluber. I mean, I guess it's just that he ran into a really good buzzsaw. This was a really good lineup today. They ate their Wheaties. They drank the Gatorade. They're ready to go. And maybe, what we saw this last year with Michael Wacha on the mound is guys have to like step up because you're like, well, Wacha's going to go out and pitch 5 innings. Maybe he'll strike out 20 dudes, or maybe he'll give up 10 runs. We need to figure it out on the in the batter's box to kind of help out Wacha.
Yeah.
And that's what happened today. So I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but and not to just look at everything as negative in this game. Franco hit another home run.
No doubter.
Yeah,
Holy
no
hell.
doubter, 389. Oh no, this is the game he homered twice in. Because this is a game where bottom of the 9th we had bases loaded. Lau strikes out and Franco ground out to second.
But it was
Trevor
really
Story.
close. It was really close.
Yeah, it was again. Not to. I don't want to brag on Boston too much, but Trevor Story made a nice diving play at it. Like it was a very nice play.
He did.
Almost tied the game for us. Potentially could have won the game on that. And
6 more inches to the right, and that's a no doubter. We win the game. Yeah,
and that's kind of one of those things that like I try and look at and stay positive about because we were still in this game. I think that had Franco not been the only one performing for us at the plate. Obviously, we had other people getting hits, but Franco was the man.
Yeah.
So I think, like, just to take a positive out of it is we were still in this with our team not doing good.
That's correct.
So to jump into the next game, just so we don't harp on the bad things of this one game, because we did take the series from we did take the series from them with our next game being a
No, go ahead.
Right,
no, you're good.
Yeah.
Well, it was the 3-2 no hit game.
Yeah. So
But
we
this
win 3-2. We win 3-2 with, if I'm not mistaken, another just amazing bullpen day. Because
they were coming off the heels of a good bullpen. Like Kluber was bad, but like Guerrera, Poche, and Saunders in the loss were still 4 innings, no hits, no runs. Yeah, they were great. Yeah,
and just to go off of that 4 innings no hit ball, we come out and throw another 9 innings. I don't think they gave up their first hit till the 9th inning.
There were no hits. There were no hits in 9 innings.
Yeah, so all of them came out. All of them bullpen guys. Not a single starter threw for us this game.
That's
and
true.
our bullpen just dominated.
Yeah. If you love pitching for both teams actually. If you love pitching, this game was for you. If you look at JP Fireisen, maybe you gotta look at just put him out there for 1 inning every game. Let's just put Fireisen as the starter every game. Because this was his second ever start, and he was part of a no-hitter. But him, Guerrera, Springs, Adam, Thompson, Kittredge, buddy, all those guys combined, 9 innings, 0 hits, obviously no runs. However, 5 walks, LOL, 5 walks.
Springs had 2, Adam had 2, and Guerrera had 1.
But it wasn't until the extra innings, and so. But before we get into the extras, because that was obviously the big story of the game, those pitchers, they have to maybe share their left and right twix with the defense, because Franco made a great play, knocking a ball up at short. He knocked it with his right hand into his glove and whatever, and then he gets it, recovers it, and throws out the runner. Wander also got another ball right up the middle and made a play that initially was called a base hit that had to be overturned, but that was a split decision play there. Phillips and Kiermaier were just making outfield grabs more than a few times in this game. and even Kittredge on the mound helped out the cause.
Yeah.
He got beamed by a comebacker, which is always scary as we think of Zombro, who just came back for Durham.
Zombro, yeah.
I mean, it's got to be entrenched in your mind. It's crazy, but Kittredge gets beamed in the back, and it was a little scary, but he makes the play at first and keeps the no-hitter alive through good defense all the way around for the Rays.
Yeah, and this was also the game that Franco had that ridiculous running catch from the shortstop position, ran like 60 feet or something to make this ridiculous over-the-shoulder kind of grab. Again, defense was amazing. Franco is showing why, in my opinion, he's one of the top 5 players in baseball. Just a phenomenal defensive player. And this was all in the 9 innings. This is before we even get to extras.
He's killing it. Yeah, so before we get to extras, the reason there were extras is because the Rays, as much as they were killing it with defense, killing it with the pitching, they didn't do anything on the base paths either. Yeah. Over 9 innings, the entire Rays lineup with 2 hits, 2 walks, and a dozen strikeouts.
Again, that's the second time this week.
It's ridiculous. And this was a story last year. I remember when I was on the show last year. This was one of my things where I'm like, guys, we either hit the ball out of the park or we strike out. And that was what the game plan was. We're seeing a lot more small ball, a lot more doubles, a lot more triples, a lot more of those things. And a lot of that's because of Wander Franco's in the lineup batting second or third every day. But to see 12 strikeouts across the entire lineup, when you're pitching a no-hitter, you just anybody please put a barrel onto a bat. But you have to credit the other team. Garrett Whitlock making his first Major League Baseball start. He gets 7 strikeouts, and I think he did a phenomenal job keeping them in the game while their offense could do nothing. So how are you going into the 9th, though? I mean, or going in extras, like now we've got base runners, we've got ghost runners still, we got all this kind of stuff, and really it's a coin flip. Ben has been adamant about telling you that, these base runner rules suck and they shouldn't be in here, but here they are. So you throw a no-hitter, and now there's going to be a dude on second base. So how are you feeling going into extra innings of this game?
I went into it feeling very good.
Okay. All right.
And then Dahlbeck got to the plate. He just rips that triple. And I would be lying to you if I said at that point I wasn't ready to turn the game off and call it a night. Like I was like,
yeah, man.
Okay, we've done everything possible to win this game. And obviously, if he would have hit a triple, they would have probably gotten a run in no matter what.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Vasquez hitting his sacrifice the very next at bat, but to see them score 2 in that inning, I was just like, "There's why? Like, what did we do wrong to deserve this? What have we done to the baseball gods to deserve this kind of an outcome?" But then and not to just jump right into how the game ended, but
yeah,
we get into it and Kiermaier is up to bat and. I have been something I've been very adamant on previous shows, not the biggest KK supporter or fan.
Yeah, that's true.
Thankful for him, but not a huge fan of him. But he comes out and hits his first ever, and I'm talking little leagues, high school, minors, like first ever walk-off home run.
I love it.
And again, it was a 372-foot bomb. Like it was a beautiful hit.
Yeah.
So
it was,
I think all around it was possibly the most emotionally draining game of baseball I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I can't lie. I was observing this game through the box score on my phone because my wife was very adamant that we go watch The Batman. So thankfully, The Batman is a 3-hour-long movie. So I was able to kind of like slide out every once in a while and check the score. Yeah, it's a 3-hour movie. They could cut a whole hour out of that movie. It was good. But it was drawn out, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll have a movie podcast later. But the thing though is because the Batman was so damn long, I was able to kind of follow along. So yeah, to see Kevin Kiermaier's reaction he gets dumped with the water after the game, and it's just that's when you can see, and we see this with Brett Phillips every time he like makes a catch. He's like, hey, like you could tell that like that little boy that loves baseball is still inside of him. You saw that from Kevin Kiermaier, who's a absolute professional.
Yeah.
He was just smiling and goofy looking and like drunk off of excitement and adrenaline, and just like he's like living the dream, buddy, you know, and he's the hero. He got to do it, and it makes it sweeter because of most of this fan base is just we're ready to trade him, we're ready to release him, we're ready to DFA him, we're ready to get rid of him. Who cares about his, you know, otherworldly defense? He can't hit, da 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 da. And it makes it sweeter when he's the dude that I can't lie. I mean, as a KK fan and one of his supporters, and you know, you guys talking about him, it made me look into the numbers. It made me kind of rethink what I thought about KK for the last few years. And now that I'm turned around on him, he gets to be the hero, and now I'm like super stoked, not only for the Rays winning, but also for Kevin Kiermaier shutting up the critics for at least one night.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately you're right. Like, he did shut up the critics for the night.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like, I guess my issue, and obviously again, amazing hit, and I'm so thankful for him. But like, with him being so amazing defensively, like he's still hitting a 152 at the end of this game. Like, he's still batting a 152. And I mean, I can't say anything because my favorite player on the team is Brett Phillips, who's batting a 185. But it's just one of those things where it's like, this game was probably the first time that I can vividly remember seeing him be like emotional, I guess you'd call it, like seeing that little kid come out and be like, baseball is fun, you know? So it felt like it was one of those things where I was excited for that aspect of it, because I don't want to say I'm a KK hater, because I don't hate the man. I think he's a phenomenal defensive player. Sure. But I do think that this is one of the first times where I was like, dang, I'm actually rooting for this guy.
I love it. I mean, and it's going to be a storyline, man. It is going to be that, because there are people that are listening to the show right now that are rolling their eyes. Yeah, KK sucks. You know, great offense or great defense, but whatever. And there's other guys that are like, no, he's solidly. I mean, Ben's made the case that like, if he's an average hitter, and that's what it is. And you shouldn't maybe. I would say, like, I definitely didn't expect there to be a home run. No way, shape, or form. We have 2 outs. Bottom of the 10th, and it was kind of like all hope is almost lost. You would kind of mention it earlier, like I was sitting here ready to fire away that graphic that we lost and this sucks, and they threw a no-hitter but they couldn't get it done because of a damn ghost runner or whatever, and then all of a sudden you hear the crack of the bat, and it was unexpected, but it was oh so delicious. Oh, so delicious, man. And it's against the Red Sox, and it makes it even better.
Just that much better, man.
Just that much.
But yeah, so then we so not to just jump away from that game and
Come on,
KK's beats, but
it's a win. Move on.
Yeah, it's a win, and it's kind of like we said, move on to the next one. Like, yeah, we got that one. Now let's go to the next game. And the next game is a 5-2 win today, actually.
Yep.
And an interesting little fact for you. So McClanahan comes in to get the start. He is the first Rays starter to get a win this season.
That's correct.
After throwing 7 innings, 6 hit, 2 earned run with 7 Ks.
And no walks, baby. No walks.
and no, 0 walks. I think that he is showing us why he deserves to be an ace in this league.
I loved it. I'm so happy he could go long. I'm so happy he could go 7 innings. They needed it. They do need a guy like McClanahan or Kluber or whoever to come in every once in a while and rest the bullpen. It was wonderful to see Shane McClanahan just getting it done on the hill, man. It's what we need. If we're going to be a 100-win team, it's because of these kind of efforts as we wait for other starters to come back, and we're experimenting with Feyereisen and Rasmussen and stuff like that. To have a guy who we're going to give him the ball, and we're all confident that he's going to go out and kill it, and then he does, and it's against a division rival, and he gets it done, man. It it wasn't all peaches and rainbows though. On the first 9 pitches he threw, they scored 2 runs, and it was not looking great. And unfortunately, that's been a theme for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Is that well? You said it. He's the first Rays starter to get a win. Obviously, the Rays have won a ton of games, or at least more than half of their games. So those are all comebacks. Those are all the bullpen. Finally in the 5th inning or 7th inning or 11th inning or whatever, we get some run support. So for McClanahan to already put up 2 against himself in the first 9 pitches, it wasn't fun. However, thankfully, that was the only offense they had the entire day. Yeah. I mean, only actually no Red Sox. I guess Red Sox would be the singular of Red Sox. So not a single Red Sox had more than 1 hit all game. There were no multi-hit guys. Only Hernandez got on base twice because he got walked. That's phenomenal. And that goes into Poche and Thompson as well, who just were lights out. But McClanahan going 7 out of 9, and none of those guys, even a second or third time through the lineup, were able to produce more than 1 hit. I'm like, chef's kiss. Let's go, baby. And that's go ahead.
I'll say I would like to point out we talked earlier about Rasmussen and his 3-inning outing on the 6-inning Cubs game.
Yeah.
He threw 79 pitches in 3 innings.
That's correct.
Rasmussen threw a 16 pitch inning, and all game only threw 86 pitches still.
Love it.
Over 7 innings. That's the difference. That's the difference to me in an ace and someone who might end up going back to a reliever role at some point.
I mean, if we get better players, they're going to put him there. But come the playoffs, it's like he's in the top 4, I think, of guys you throw out for the first 5 innings for sure.
Well, right now he's top 3. Yeah, top 2.
Yeah, of course. He might be 1. He might be 1. Yeah. He's 1 right now. Like Kluber has a way to go.
Exactly.
Well, what was good is the Red Sox. This was the kind of ghosts of Christmas past. We had Michael Wacha, and then we had Rich Hill.
Rich Hill, yeah,
Hill. So Dick Mountain gets on the mound for Red Sox, and it's like it is great. But Randy put the bat to him 2 out of 4. Yandy Diaz had a homer. Margot had a ribby. It was a sack, but it was still an RBI. But offensively, the hero of the day has to be Ji-Man Choi. I mean, has to be. This is my hero of the game. He comes in, bases loaded as a pinch hitter, comes up with a huge 2-run hit that hit off the wall to tie the ball game to make all this happen in the first place. Up until that point, it was a downer, buddy. McClanahan got hit early, and as much as he had shutout innings after that, when G-Man came up, we needed that shot in the arm, and finally we get some base runners, and then G-Man comes in and just knocks the snot out of the ball. I thought it was a homer. I thought it was a home run, and it just
I did too.
Thought it was a homer. And which would have been great. G-Man just comes in, doing G-Man things, just hitting grand slams. No big deal, man. It's what he does, man. He's a G-Man Choi, bro.
It's what I do. It's what I do.
He's the what do they call it? G unit. He's the nothing but a G thing. Nothing but a G.
Nothing but a G thing. Hey, mate.
Yeah, I was over here like like just getting it done, man. But it goes off the wall, and that's what fired everything up. In the first place. So Ji-Man Choi, my hat goes off to you, sir. But it was like after that first inning, everything went right for the Rays. Yeah. Poche, Thompson come in after McClanahan. 2 innings, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Yeah, boy, let's go. McClanahan got it done after the first inning. The bullpen held it together, and then the Rays were able to chip away. And because the Rays are going to score 4 to 6 runs every game. Like with this lineup, they're killing it right now.
Yeah, and we got, if I'm not mistaken, our first Yandy bomb of the season.
Yandy bomb, yeah, I love it. I know you were saying he's like your player of the week, and I cannot disagree with he's definitely a good candidate for it.
So yeah, I mean, he just comes in, and I feel like he does whatever is needed of him at any time, and that's why I love him so much.
Yeah, he's just like, let's go, buddy. Well, and we needed some Yandy Ball because he's playing third, he's playing first, he's moving around, and it's one of those question marks that I know you guys had with your phenomenal preview coverage so far. Is we were like, where does Yandy fit in this team? And we need the power. We need a guy to come in and be able to swing like he does. So it's good to see him delivering this week, and it's one of the reasons why they're now 4 out of the last 5 and 5 out of the last 7 victories after a pretty bad stretch a couple weeks ago. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and I think there was a point last week where you and I were talking, and I was like, Eureka, I got to be honest with you, my hopes in finishing first in the division are slowing, like it's
How
slipping
dare
a little
you?
bit.
How
I
dare
know.
you, Zach?
Hey, listen, everyone listening. I will tell you guys this because you're gonna hear me say some stuff that sounds like I'm not really a Rays fan. Diehard Rays fan. Unfortunately, I'm also a realistic fan. I'm not just a super fan.
Buddy. Sure, buddy.
So I love the Rays, and I do think we're gonna win the World Series still. But the pitching has gotten me concerned.
Okay. It's okay to have questions. It's a marathon, not a sprint. That's why they play 162.
Exactly.
That's why, look, you could lose 10-0. It's only 1 loss in the column. You could turn around and win 8-2, and it's only 1 win in the standings. So there's ups and downs, and but there's I guess let's do this. Give me your batter of the week and your pitcher of the week.
All right, so I did the same one last week, but I'm gonna have to go. I wanted to go Mejia.
Okay.
I wanted to go Mejia hard, but I don't think he played enough for me to go Mejia.
Okay.
He had a little bit of a COVID scare, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We're back to hearing that word again.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But I would probably have to go Wander. He hit 4 home runs this week.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go Wander based off of just phenomenal. I mean, him being Wander, I can't even. There's no other words needed. Wander hit 4 home runs, just did really, really good.
He's having I don't know how you are a superstar as a rookie and you're having I guess technically he's still a rookie, but he's having like a breakout second year. Like it's
exactly.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And you're like, I feel like, how do you go up from being a superstar?
Dude, it's like, I mean, the closest thing. I don't want to get too hyperbolic here. Okay, please let me justify this. But whenever there's a phenom that's very young, okay, everyone has the moon potential, and when they actually meet that, or they're like even close to meeting it, and it's like the hype, it's almost like we couldn't overhype it because he's been so great. Yeah. I mean, we're basketball guys, so like it's kind of. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic.
I know where you're going.
It's kind of like when LeBron comes in and there was no way he could meet the hype, and then he had a not so great rookie season for a rookie it was like amazing, but for NBA players it was like, oh yeah, okay. But if you're thinking like this kid's 18 and he's killing it, like he's so good, and how can you be this young and this good this early and knowing that like he's gonna get better? That's the last person of any sport that I can think of that Wander is like this. All we've heard is number 1 prospect, 5-tool player, amazing. Oh my God, God's gift to baseball. And you're being a realistic. It can't be that hard to be like, yeah, okay, we'll see what happens when he gets to the league. And then he comes and he's like, yep, he's performing in the playoffs. Oh my God, this. And then he comes in this year and he's doing even better. It's like, and there's still room to grow, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And that's the scary part, bro. He can still improve.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and you think like looking at it this way, we're like, yeah, he's a superstar already, but I feel like a lot of people are forgetting that he's still 21 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, he should be playing like high A ball right now.
Exactly. I was doing some research the other day when we did one of our trades. I think it was the Meadows trade, and I just wanted to see like the median age or the mid range age of a AAA ball player, and they're 26 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like to see him be 21 years old and being a superstar. Like, think about him at 26. God forbid any injuries or anything. Just the
Yeah, knock on
maturity.
plywood or whatever you got
And,
over there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they just having the ability to be that much better and that much more mature. Not that he's immature now. I think he's one of the more mature 21-year-olds we see in the game. But
You don't have to justify that. We all know what's going. I mean, you're not. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
but no, but you're right. And it's like I feel like he's just gonna get that much better. But
Ridiculous.
then to jump into my pitcher of the week, we're gonna go another young guy, Shane McClanahan.
Ooh. Okay.
I wanted to throw Kittredge in there, but I think today's game solidified him for pitcher of the week for me, with McClanahan just doing phenomenal again. Very low walk numbers. He was hit around in the first inning, and his ability to correct himself and do what he needed to do to get out of that hole, a 2-run hole.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on Wander. I was gonna. I mean, Kittredge has been my guy for the whole thing. But Kittredge, before coming into today's game, he was 3 innings, 3 strikeouts, 1 save, and a 1.03 FIP and a 0.00 ERA. So it's like he's getting it done. He's the person getting it done. He's not getting any lucky stuff. But I mean, Shane Mack, man, go Bulls. Got to rep my USF guy, and he's another guy that's young, superstar material, and he's getting it done. He was a great rookie, and now he's getting it done now. So I'm not going to knock any of those guys. My last thing I wanted to bring up before we get out of here, a little fun, and it's only because you're one of the only other guys I know that I could talk to about this. Have you seen the Topps 2022 Series 1 baseball cards yet?
I have not seen them yet. I have with the whole move that I did, I have not been purchasing new cards or anything.
All right, I gotta see if I can throw this on my app. I have Vidal Brujans. We're a podcast. We're an audio podcast, but I at least wanted to get you're a card guy, so I kind of want to get your first reactions. So you haven't even seen the Wander yet? You haven't seen the Wander?
I think you sent me a picture of it.
Yep.
Over Discord, so I did see it, but I mean, I got to give it to Topps. For some reason their value isn't there, but the work,
the
of
artwork
the
is man.
Yes, it's phenomenal.
I'm not a big. I open packs, and if I get an auto or a relic or something, great. But I'm not a flipper, or I'm not trying to get whatever. It's I was on the hunt for Wander, and my first pack I opened, I got a Wander. That's why I texted you. I was like, I got it.
Yeah.
I got the one card I was looking for, baby. But I do collect Topps every year, at least between the Rays and the Cardinals and other cool guys that I like, hopefully to get a relic or an auto. But I think this year they really nailed it. Last year I was not a big fan of their design, but this I think is just clean. It's classic. It kind of goes back to a little bit of the history of the cards. And so if you look at some of the old 70s and 80s good designs, I think this kind of harkens back to them a little bit with the push into the futuristic. Where last year was like a bunch of floating parallelograms and it was at an angle and stuff.
Yep.
It's just they looked really weird, man. And
I went to again, we're not a card podcast, but if you guys know about cards, last year I went big into Bowman just because of how I didn't like Topps last year.
It's horrible, man. And if you were trying to get the Mountcastle rookie from the Orioles, or who else was really big in that, dude, it's just not. Or Patino is the rookie in that one for us, and so
I got a ton of Illusion Patinos.
Yeah,
that was one of my go-tos that I was trying to collect because I think that he's going to be phenomenal. And again, I'm not a flipper. I just collect Tampa Bay stuff, really.
Correct. I'm with you.
So I just collect a bunch of Tampa stuff, and that was a lot of my searching was for him and Franco, because Franco had some cards out last season.
Franco did have a prospect card, yeah. Well, I just want to slip that in there for 5 minutes because you and I might be the good guys to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you guys out there listening, if you're making it this far along, what do you like the baseball cards? Drop us a note. We are at RBLR Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. We are at RBLR Sports. Let us know what you're thinking, man. Who was your player of the week? Who is your batter? Who is your pitcher? And what are you thinking about Topps 2022 Series 1 as it hits the shelves? Also, wherever you're listening to this right now, there's whether you're on Spotify or iHeartRadio or wherever, there's a little button. It says follow or subscribe. Hit that button for us and make sure you're getting the notifications so that every time we drop one of these just 5-star Tampa Bay podcasts in the feed, you're going to get an email. So it's like if you like the Rowdies, if you like the of course you like the Rays, you're listening to this. If you like the Bucks, if you like the Lightning as they're gearing up for another Stanley Cup run, if you like the Bandits, Zach and I do a Bandits podcast talking about the United States Football League. We do all of that for your pleasure. So please, please, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you're getting all of your Tampa Bay stuff. But that's my last thing. That's my sales pitch. Thanks for having me on, Zach. It's good to come in here every once in a while.
You and I, our shows are always exciting. I enjoy talking with you, so it's been a blast. But I think you're forgetting one thing.
No, I'm not. I don't forget anything.
No, never. Aren't we doing a giveaway right now?
We are. So yeah, if you go to us and the great folks at the Bolt Report, who are a phenomenal coverage of the Lightning, we've partnered with them on our at RBLR Sports on Twitter. If there's a pinned tweet, we need you to retweet that tweet. So follow us and follow Bolt Report. We're going to give away a free T-shirt at the end of the regular season, which is not too long away. So we're going to give away any shirt you want at the store for free. And all you got to do is follow both of us and retweet the tweet. So, I mean, come on. It's free to do that, and you can maybe get a cool shirt. And then, of course, you can use promo code FLAPPY at any time to get any of those cool shirts with the 10% off discount. So, maybe I did forget that, but I'm droning on and on. I'm selling away here, guys. Come on.
Hey, but you know what? Again, it was great talking to you and you guys listening. We appreciate you guys so much. I think Eureka said it perfect. We do this for you guys. We enjoy the interactions with you guys. So if you want to follow us personally on Instagram or Twitter, anything that you guys want to just talk to us about the sport of baseball, about any of the sports in reality, we would love it. We're all for it. Just go Rays, man.
All right, go Rays.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.